We're on? Hey, welcome everybody. It's Tackle Shop Confessions. I'm here with Sam De La Torre,
Hi.
who's gone through a transformation that we're not quite sure what happened. Sam, good to see you.
Good to see you,
You
Phil.
ready for the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about tonight?
I don't know.
Oh,
Anything that pops up.
well, that's excellent. I thought we'd talk about fishing and what's biting and the tackle like you normally do.
Yeah.
All right, that's Michael Limon, everybody. Sam's off selling some fishing tackle. So I thought we'd start the show off and talk about what is going on this afternoon because there's been some developments. It's been very slow fishing for the past 3 or 4 days or so. I mean, really, really down. There's been some exceptions to that. The Highliner had a night where he had 25 fish in the 110 to 220 pound class. But Max was out hitting kelps today, and he said, man, these things are dry. There's nothing around here right now. And then they decided to go off and look for bluefin tuna. They were fishing south down around the tuna pens, probably 40, 50 miles below Point Loma into Mexican waters. Didn't find much at all down there. However, the Poseidon, 100 miles west of San Diego, we just heard from him. He has limits of bluefin tuna, and that is a good thing. We're liking what we are seeing there. We've also heard some pretty good yellowtail scores here today. That seems to be picking up once again. So as we explained on the morning briefing this morning, we'll go into further detail here this evening. Sometimes you just get these lulls. It could be tidal flow, it could be moon phase, it could be both those things, it could be a myriad of other things that creates slower fishing. And we certainly have had that. But it looks like that light switch is going up here. Maybe you'll be able to chime in here in a little bit and let me know because you'll be able to get scores while Sam and I are doing the show. And Sam will be joining us here in just another minute. But some really good signal going on here after some slow fishing. It was even slow in the surf down around our place in Surfside, California, where it was wide open yellowfin croaker recently. So what's that sound like? Pretty good?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Michael, it was even slow on the docks at 22nd Street today, wasn't it?
Yeah, every time I drop down and I sit my pole down, I'll get these hits, and then every time I pick up my pole, they're just nothing.
So, yeah, it's been a little bit slow, but I think it's rectifying and heading in the right direction. We're going to be talking Baja. I'll tell you that Ensenada started to bite again today. I just talked to Victor at Blackfin Sportfishing. He's located, like when you drive into Ensenada, there's the downtown area. And then if you drive out kind of toward La Bufadora, that famous blowhole, that's called Punabanda out that way. And Victor's out there. And man, he had some really good yellowtail fishing today. So that looked much better, much improved. I know that Paulina and her mom and Folka were out yesterday and they caught a ton of rockfish. So that was prior to the yellows rebounding and biting again. So it just seems like things are starting to get going again. And hopefully we'll be catching more than sculpin on the local scene. I saw the Monte Carlo had sculpin yesterday. They said they were chasing around some sand bass, but they couldn't get it to bite. And I think Sam De La Torre is going to. Where's Sam's chair? We don't have. Oh, here it comes. All right, let me get that for you,
I
Michael.
got it.
Perfect. Hand that to the man. Thank you, Michael, for filling in. Oh, you're not going anywhere, are you?
No.
All right, perfect. Michael Limon will be right here for the rest of the show. And we have an incredible studio audience tonight, Sam.
I got to get my
Sam's got to get his
little phone holder.
little phone holder. All right, very good. Sam, good to see you, man. How's your week going?
Great.
I haven't seen you, man. I've been like going
Where
crazy.
you been?
Been at the fair and
How's the fair been?
insane.
Has
Let
it
me
been
put it
fair?
there. It's been beyond fair. It's been insane. Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I walked in there and was setting up my bar yesterday, and then Mike, I can't remember his name, but really goes on all our charters and everything. He's just right there, like, hey, I wanted to see you at the fair. And some of the captains, I've seen them there. All kinds of great people. So the fair is cranking along, and of course, we've got a lot of great fishing to talk about. We already have 40 people jumping on here like this. I see Steve's leaving comments. All kinds of comments are being left. And I got to say, the store was super busy. I mean, that's why we're on late, because you were taking care of some of your clients, which is a great thing, man. Way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of crazy lately where, guys will show up at a certain time. It seems like they all show up at once. So we'll get it to where, most of the day it'll be kind of, one guy here, one guy there. And all of a sudden at 2 o'clock, it's like everybody shows up. Or
Yeah.
Some days it'll be right at 5 o'clock, everybody shows up. And so, when you got here, it seemed like that was the time when the current picked up.
Yeah,
and
right.
they were biting, so you got to take advantage, of when it's here. So we're so happy to have have guys coming in and asking for help, needing help. One thing we had today, a couple of guys from out of town too.
The Bakersfield guys?
Bakersfield guy.
Yeah,
Had
those
another
guys are
guy
cool.
from Bay Area was here earlier too. So we're lucky to have those guys as well. And,
Yeah, heck
and,
yeah.
some of those guys come in because they see the show.
The Bakersfield guys. He goes,
Yeah.
oh, I watch you guys all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
it's
awesome.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. I mean, I was just looking, I don't know if I told you this story, but I was up on the Island Spirit, and we were filming these guys that were commercial crab fishermen. And a guy walks on the dock, and he looks at me, and he goes, oh, hey, it's the guy from Instagram. And I don't know if I told you this, but I go, oh, okay, he's just got Instagram and YouTube confused. I went and looked at my Instagram, and it has gone up 7,000 recently.
Oh.
No, it's almost 10,000. And so I go, well, maybe he does watch, because I started posting it a lot more. And then I saw this schmuck. I just showed Grandpa. I had him in a video that I threw on Facebook the other day, 50,000 views. And so, yeah, it's all that stuff finally coming together. And you're a huge part of that.
We're putting it together for you.
Yeah, I mean, who else would pick on me every single Monday night? I can't find somebody to do that.
I bet you they're lined up.
Steve Knott, yeah,
You
they
got 4
are.
or 5 guys out there right now.
Well,
Just take
speaking
a
of
shot at
that,
you.
we got Chris Navarro here tonight. We got, of course, got Mackie, Bob Gifford. Don't put the camera on him or he'll run out. And we got Dan Lightfoot over there. So we got a heck of a studio audience here tonight. And
That's for
that's
sure.
always good. You want me to start reading some comments?
All right.
We'll do that. Oh, and let me just mention before I forget, Daniel Hodawy just sent me a message. He's running the Endeavor. I want to say 10 white sea bass and 26 halibut.
Oh,
for his
slow
trip.
day, yeah.
Slowed up,
Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't that Doug. Did you hear about Doug
I
Gill?
saw that, yeah.
96 freaking halibut.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if I've seen that many in my life.
I don't
legal
think I have.
halibut.
I don't think I have.
Not on a sport boat. I don't think I have.
Yeah.
I mean, they caught all that in one trip. That's
Freaking
crazy.
amazing. Doug got a message off to me early in the morning. He said, we got like 50 plus halibut, and I've got 5 to 35 pounds. I'm going, oh
Gosh.
my God, they're in the middle of a trip that.
Well,
is-
and that's the thing too. With that those landings at their Ventura landings, that's kind of what they've been known for the last 5 years, no more, maybe 10 years. They're not going to get them every day, but when they get them, man, to me it's almost historic. And big ones too. The sea bass that they've had over the years past. But to have any boat catch more than 15 halibut, that's huge. They caught 100.
Huge.
Damn near,
They caught 100. Yeah, basically.
It's crazy.
And when the camera went over the deck, when you looked at those rugs, they were nice fish. I didn't see any like legal, just barely legal fish.
No, all like 15 and up, maybe 25 pounders. I mean, it's crazy to have that many quality fish. I mean, and who knows why, right? I mean, people say, well, it's because this, or people will say, oh, they've always been there. They just don't target. I don't know about that. I just know that, by and large, most of the captains work so hard to catch fish. I can't see them overlooking, mounds and mounds of halibut, over the past 20 years.
Especially
I
guys,
just don't see it.
Guys like Tucker or Alec on the Royal Star. I don't even want to start naming guys.
Yeah. I just can't see that being something. So we just got something going on here in our waters that, if you wanted to take advantage of, it's historic. I mean, we have so many other things, right? And some things that aren't as good. You could talk about the sand bass and the barracuda. It hasn't been as good.
Yeah.
But other things are like off the charts.
Yeah, like our bluefin bite.
Yeah,
it's down a little bit right now, but don't get all concerned about that. We've had such great fishing for so long. It struck me as unusual yesterday, talking to Monte Carlo and having them say, we followed around schools of sand bass, which suggests they're migratory, and they look like they're just not quite ready to settle in. So it's August.
I know.
So it's just late. I mean, it could well turn on one of these days.
Yeah, I sure hope so, man. Those guys really need it.
Yeah, they do.
I went out there with Diego and Luna the other day, half day, but we caught plenty of sculpin. But I do see it's like light loads. I mean, we were there during the week. It was on a Wednesday. I'm sure the weekends are a lot busier, but still, I feel like, man, those guys.
It's August.
They just haven't had.
No.
They haven't had the fish to get people. Even though you're going to go home with 5 sculpin.
Really good eating fish.
Good eating fish.
Yeah.
And occasionally they'll go and they'll get some bass too, but they really need that sand bass, and it's just more exciting fishing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'll read some of these. Steve Nyes, who works here at Island Fishing Tqckle and always has a cocky comment or two for our shows. He says, I'm here and waiting, Phil. That's your boss's fault tonight. I'm still not blocked. Mackie, where'd Mackie go? He's supposed to block him. What is going on? Yeah. Beware of the unknown. Tyler Tanaka. Hello, Freedman Adventures family. Tyler, always great to see you. Robert Slagers, 6 likes and nothing has happened. Sam, it's all your fault. Steve Nyes, I see you're right on time like normal. I'm still blaming Sam. Tyler says, go easy on him. It's technology. It's Phil. Well, it wasn't that. Mackey's here, by the way. So we got that all figured out. And Steve continuing to play around. Yeah, I know. Internet issues. Leave it up to Phil to mess up the internet and shut down a bite. Good thing he hasn't been on the water. What a schmuck. Tyler Tanaka laughing his butt up. Boy, Steve is back. Hey, will you ban this jackass, please? Tyler, just be glad he isn't going to sea throws with you guys. You'd have it bad being trapped on an island with him. Oh, I actually put LOL, but now I don't think it's that funny after I've read all these other ones. Steve says, Robert, Phil gets more likes for not showing up than when he goes live. That's funny, I have to admit. He'd make, boy, what is he thinking? What did I do to him? I'm going to screw with him next
free
time
reign
I
for a
see
little
him.
bit here, yeah.
He'd make Cedros Island feel like you were fishing Catalina with a bad bite. Oh, making fun of Catalina Island. Nice going. Tyler Tanaka. Haha, Steve is not holding back. Yeah, no, he's on it, man. All right, Mario Mazon. I don't know. Mario seems to me like he's going to be a caballero, a gentleman. Thanks, Phil and Sam. Now, this is the kind of guy I like. Mario, get down here and have a chicken wing with us tonight. Mario says, thanks, Phil and Sam, for the advice for San Clemente Island. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Sam and asked for the right tackle for San Clemente Island, and I went on an overnighter and killed it. 1 white sea bass, 3 yellowtail, and a calico.
Awesome.
Way to go, Mario. And Sam, way to go, man.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the crew had a little bit to do with that too. Those guys are so good on that boat. I didn't say what boat. I thought he went on the Freedom, but whatever boat you went on, I'm sure they helped you out, man. That's really good, Mario. Glad to hear you had a good trip.
Yeah, and part of it, Sam, for me is honestly, I've had some boats want to advertise with me, and I didn't take their money because I wasn't thrilled with. In this place, Island Fishing Tqckle, I'm talking about, I just have no, I sent anybody here and I know how they're going to get treated. And they don't have to say, I know Phil Frieman or they don't have to say anything. In fact, they get thrown out if they say that. But I just know how they're going to get treated. And perfect evidence of this. Yeah. Although I owe Mario $20 for saying that. But Mario, thanks, man. So happy you had a great trip. Tyler Tanaka, speaking of Cedros, it was on fire today, like beyond normal. I saw a video of a couple of acres of water with yellows boiling and swirling. It looked unreal. The guy that wrote the Tatty Lures book is down there right now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Scott Manson.
Yeah, Scott Manson. I saw him with a big calico and some yellowtail and good stuff. Steve's back again. What the hell? Shop got busy just before time to keep Phil from going on air. It sounds like a third grade dissertation there, Steve. Good job. What great customers Sam has to save us all. Am I reading that right?
Yes, I don't know.
Now he's starting to drink, I guess. You're in for a great time, Tyler's. It's been a fantastic year. Boy, Steve.
Well, Tyler's on our siege.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one, though.
Does Steve have a girlfriend? We got to get her.
I met the other guy, Brennan, that's going with Tim. So I imagine Tim, Marquez, Brennan, and Tyler probably going to be on the same panga together. So I'm going to try to get a hold of Rosie and kind of see if that's the case, and maybe we'll do a little bit of planning to make sure that you guys are all rigged up right.
Tony Gonzalez, we have a show without the show. Man, we're catching up. And now, Tim Marquez, you call his name out, there he is. Hey, best income tax, unfiled taxes, problems with past taxes? Call Tim Marquez right away. Tim says, Tyler Tanaka, hope the yellows wait for us. They bite in the fall really good. When are you guys
really good? September. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll be getting them good, Tim. I mean, be more worried about being selective, how many fish you're going to catch.
Alberto Ponce was at the Orange County Fair, and I got to mess around with him and his wife, Crystal, and his 2 kids made me some lovely headgear, which I wore on the morning briefing. Good to see you, Albert. Thanks for being here. Steve, as long as Phil stays stateside, you're good, Tim. Why? What did I do to this jackass? Zoomcar Fishing 247. Good afternoon, Friedman. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Tony Gonzalez. Hey, Phil, So when is the Albie trip? I know, really. Got to put it together and show the non-believers. Well, Tony, I'm going to have to do it after the fair because I'm just too wiped out on Mondays and Tuesdays, pretty much. But so that would be like after the middle of August, maybe like toward the end of August. Although we kind of have like a Paulina thing going on. You know, Paulina, my co-host in Mexico, when I'm down in Ensenada, will be up here. Pretty sure she's going to be here at Island Fishing Tqckle. If I had to tell you what day, I would say it's going to be the 24th.
So September, maybe.
No, August 24th.
No, for the albacore.
Yeah, maybe September.
Prime,
exactly.
prime albacore.
Prime
window.
albacore.
Yeah.
Hey, we got two. The lucky
Yeah,
charm.
but September's going to be like way better.
Oh yeah, it's
Catch
going to
twice
be
as
somebody's
many.
going to get four.
Yeah, catch twice as many.
Exactly. So I know there's a whole bunch of guys that want to do this. I'd go for a boat ride.
Go for it.
I'm in, man.
Just don't go into Mexico.
Why?
Steve said.
Oh, that's right. We got to stay out of Mexico. All right, Tony, I'll work on that. Tim Marquez, what trips do you all have? Oh, tips do you all have? Thank you. Maintaining your reels when on multi-day trips and when you return home. Very good question, Tim. And I know Sam has an excellent answer.
Yeah, so I always tell people the best thing you can do on multi-day trips, whether you're on a 3-day trip or a 15-day trip, is just fresh water, meaning that you got to put fresh water in your reels. Now, obviously, you're not going to take apart your reels every day and rinse them. So what you want to do is just go to the 99-cent store or Target or whatever and get an empty spray bottle. Every single long-range boat is going to have, and even probably regular overnight boats are going to have fresh water running. And so you just fill that thing up, and throughout the day, just go around and spray your reels down. It's super easy to do. It's kind of a habit thing. I don't think it's something that people have a hard time doing. It's really more that they maybe have a hard time remembering to do it. But if you have it hanging there at your tackle box, every time you come out of the galley, maybe do it one time, maybe after breakfast, and maybe another time after lunch, another time after dinner. You just kind of use that as a remember, because a lot of times after you eat, you're going to want to kind of hang out for a few minutes before you go start fishing. Take that time to go and rinse down your reels. That's probably the number one best thing you do is keep the salt off of your reels. And during a long trip, that's going to be the best way to do it. So just get yourself a empty spray bottle.
Excellent. Steve Nye is back again. See, even Sam doesn't want to work with him tonight. Hey, anybody got a compromising picture of Steve of any kind? Make me a dartboard. We'll do a Friedman Adventures dartboard, and we'll sell them for $3.95. I think that'll be great. If you don't have a compromising photo of Steve, I will get one in the next week or so. I make sure that you get it. All right, Robert Graber. Robert made it to the live show. Happy Monday at Tackle Shop Confessions to you, Phil, Michael, Marcus, Sam, soon, and all the Friedman Adventures family. Robert Graber, always good to see you. I'm going to see you pretty soon when we're up there with Paulina in Ventura. Tyler Tanaka, Tim Marquez, it will be great. It's Cedros, Disneyland for Yellowtail. Looking forward to meeting you and sharing fishing stories. You guys are going to get along fantastic, guaranteed, because you're both great guys. Southern Halley, oops, we got a lot of comments in here already. Starting to push up there toward 100 viewers. Hello, gentlemen. Yeah, he said same here, Tyler. Hello, gentlemen. I'm just here enjoying the show. Thank you so much. Southern Halley, Tyler Tanaka, Sam. Speaking of Cedros, are you planning on taking tackle on our trip for yellowfin and dorado? If so, what's your go-to lures? Poppers, feathers, snipers, trolling plugs?
Not much on the trolling stuff, Tyler, although I think that if it presented itself, that would probably work just fine. Not really looking to do much trolling. I'm definitely going to take some stick baits, although I think the poppers would work too, so maybe I'll take one of those too. But primarily going to be stick baits. It's going to be the same stick baits that I would use for calico bass fishing, so it isn't like it's a specific dorado or yellowfin stick bait. It'll be the same ones that I use for bass fishing. So that's basically going to be the extent of that. I really I'm not really focused on the dorado as much, and even the yellowfin. But if it's not too far away and it's something we can go and mess around with, I'd probably mess.
Or you've like murdered yellowtail for 2 days in a row. Or, yeah.
I might even take some like small knife jigs, something like that. Maybe like some Colt snipers and things like that. But nothing really too specific, and not a whole lot of it either. Chris had a
Chris
question.
Navarro has a question.
I have a question. Okay, what would you use as a stick bait, and what size, what brand, what model?
Probably like about a
Please
150
repeat
size.
the question.
So Chris was asking what kind of stick bait I would use. There's a lot of them out there, but anywhere between like a 120 to about a 150, 160, right around there, millimeter size. Those are kind of how you're going to find them as far as in the tackle shop. But about a 150 is about the right size. One of the things I do is that I change them out to single hooks, especially with the bass fishing. Just makes it a lot easier to release. Yeah, sometimes you get some short strikes or you might miss a fish here and there. But when you start getting them full speed, it's just nice to be able to shake them off and keep fishing again. So one of the ones that I do like is the ones from Rapala. They have one that already has some nice single hooks on it. It's their long cast version. I like that one a lot, but there's a ton of them out there. Your Zuri has some good ones. Nomad has some good ones. Daiwa has some good ones too. So any of those I kind of like.
Excellent stuff. And September's a hell of a good month for yellowfin and dorado and that kind of stuff. But you're so tied up with, like, it's hard to leave wide open yellowtail, bass, and everything else, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't know. I guess me personally, I do that 11-day in the fall, so I kind of get all the yellowfin that I want that way. But once again, I'm going to take some lighter gear. I'm going to take some spinning gear and some poppers and stick baits. And so if it presents itself, I'll definitely do it. I'm not really looking to bring any of that stuff back. Yeah. For sure.
You mean fish?
Yeah, the yellowfin for sure. I know that I want to bring back more of the whitefish type of stuff, like your sheephead and wahoo, and maybe some bass and halibut, white sea bass, that kind of thing. And that's what I would bring back. But that being said, if it's kind of in the same zone, maybe 10 miles away at the most, I probably would do it.
Zip out there.
But if we got to go 25, spend a half an hour getting there, probably not really what I want to do, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We end up catching so many yellowtails that it gets boring, which is possible.
I know.
You get down there, you'd be like, you know what, man, we're done with this yellowtail. Let's go do something else. And someone says, oh, yeah, so-and-so caught some tuna out here. I'd be game for it,
and people don't believe that, but it's true. You can get bored.
Yeah.
In a way.
In a way, yeah. Not to where you never want to catch them again.
No. But for that,
maybe you're open to something else.
I took my freaking kids. I've told you this.
Yeah.
And we were catching marlin full speed. We had double-digit marlins, and they look at me and go, "Can we do something else?" And I wanted to strangle them. I'm like, "This is the most amazing."
I know.
And and the guy goes, "Yeah, yellowfin, roosterfish. What do you guys want to do?" Yeah. It was too much, man. That was funny. All right, Steve Bermudez. Wait till you hear this comment. Wow, double barrel.
Woo!
Woohoo! What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
Here you go. A double barrel of fishing knowledge. I don't think my heart can take it. You and I, or you and Michael?
Yeah, me and Michael.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Steve. Now, thank you for clarifying. Steve is back again. Tyler, Dorado will definitely be an option. Yellowfin, not so much. Oh, he's not picking on me anymore.
Yeah.
That dartboard put him off, huh?
I know last year that the trip after us, maybe, or 2 trips after us, they did catch some yellowfin. But on our trip, we caught Dorado, and I think it's going to be definitely in the cards. So it's just really more a matter of how much you want to chase it around. When we were there, the stuff was around. You could see it around some of the kelp patties, but it wasn't biting all that great. It was biting okay. But, just something to do. I mean, it isn't like you spend the whole day doing it, and it's a long day. So sometimes kind of breaking up the day, even just for that, isn't too bad an idea either.
Surface iron for yellowfin's pretty insane, though. It's fun.
Yeah, Chris was mentioning fishing surface iron for yellowfin and how fun that could be.
Skipping it, or that's fun to do.
And granted, if it's something that we can do within reason of time, I probably would be game for it. But that yellowtail fishing, it's just one of those things that the yellowtail specifically, I don't see anywhere else that I would have that kind of opportunity to catch a surface iron yellowtail with that regularity. The tuna on my 11-day, once again, this is kind of more of a personal thing.
Yeah.
Is readily available down there at the Ridge and at Alejos. And so for me personally, I wouldn't really feel like I'm missing out if I don't do that. But if the rest of the group wants to go chase them down, I'm game for it.
When is your 11-day?
11-day is right before Thanksgiving. So we come back the day before Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah.
This year?
Every year. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm on an 8-day. We come back the day, like that day or 2 days before, something like that.
Yeah.
I hope we're there at the same time. That'd be cool.
Well,
I think you get in the day after us, but I'm not sure.
So I'm sure we might cross paths.
That's
I'll
cool.
throw a jig at you for sure.
We'll see you down there somewhere. All right, very good. Steve, thank you for the double barrel comment. And Steve Nyes, also, thank you for being so kind and not picking on me. Tony Gonzalez, guys, keep it on the low with the counts, or else those guys up there will close it down.
I know.
Yeah.
No, you're right about that. I mean, it's so tough. We want it to be really good fishing, but sometimes, some of these environmentalists look at that and they'll be like, okay, that's our next target. We're gonna go try to close that down. So
Yeah, no shit.
so hard, man. We want good
No
fishing.
kidding. Pardon
Yeah.
me. What happened there? April Bean wants to know where I'm at right now. I'm at Island Fishing Tqckle in beautiful Carson, California, sitting next to Michael Limon and Sam De La Torre. Andy Favela. Andy, what's happening, my friend? Hey, guys, going on my first reverse day and a half in a week. What should someone that has never done one expect? Andy, I'm going to turn that over to Sam. I am going to make this comment, though. There's something really nice, Andy, about leaving in the daytime in terms of getting to know your fellow anglers. Because normally you get on the boat and go to sleep.
Yeah.
But you're BSing with guys and tying up. I like that whole thing, man. That is cool. I'm guessing you're going to be going somewhere where the bluefin are biting at night, Sam, right?
So when I get on the boat day and a half,
You're going right to bed?
Right to bed, yeah. Because you're going to be fishing all night. So yeah, you're right.
That's true.
You do get a chance to kind of hang out with the guys, and it's a daytime thing. So it's a little bit different experience than traveling at night. When you travel at night, you kind of don't really want to be out on deck too much.
True.
Just for safety.
Safety reasons.
But when it's a daytime thing, it's really common that guys will be out, and sometimes even guys will even take depending on the boat, even take a little folding chair and kind of hang out there on the back deck. But in this case, I would say also is think about, listening to the crew and seeing what time they expect to start fishing, and get some sleeping time in before that, because you might be fishing all night.
That is for sure. You got to get some sleep, or it's just you finally throw the towel in. You might. I know on the Apollo trip, I think we had some of our best bites like 4 a.m. So
Yeah.
guys were gutting it out. Nobody was sleeping. So
Yeah, and you only have one night, so I mean, you should be able to do it for one night, but get in a little bit of sleep just to help you out there. And I know it's hard because you probably don't normally sleep that time of day,
yeah,
or maybe just can't sleep in the day at all. But whatever you can do to just kind of rest, and be ready for that nighttime bite.
Andy, best of luck. Thank you for checking in. Best of luck on your trip. Rob S. A week ago, caught some great bluefin tuna on the Ocean Odyssey. Problem is the portioning of the fish, because they're not processing the fish too expensive.
I think what he meant problem is the processing of the fish, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's what it's been forever. I mean, yeah, granted, it's gone up here a little bit the last year, and so we're definitely a little more sensitive to any kind of price increases. But it isn't like it was 25 cents last year and now it's $2. I mean, it was probably $1.80 last year. This year is probably $2 or something like that. But that's one of the things you got to think about when we're big game fishing. Is that it's a big game, bill of processing that fish. So I think because of the fishing game rules, I don't even think they can really fully fillet out a fish like how they would a calico bass or a rockfish here locally. You get these 100-pound tunas and stuff like that. It's just not something that they can do. They can kind of quarter them, I guess, and they got to keep all the guts and everything together.
Yeah, right.
So you got to take all that with you off the boat. So it's definitely a little more complicated. But you're right. That's something we should probably think about is as you're preparing for your trip, is how much fish do you want to bring back? That's usually not what we think about, right? We want to go out there and catch a bunch of fish.
Yeah.
That's all we want. That's kind of the whole goal. But when these fish are so big, you also want to think about what you're going to do with that fish afterward. And to be honest with you, I mean, yeah, the processing isn't cheap. There's no doubt about it. But I just can't see any better way to make the most of your catch than by processing it. Meaning that if you catch 100-pound tuna and you process it yourself, you're probably going to have 25 pounds of good meat to eat, which is still a lot. I mean, it's still a good amount. But when you have it processed, you'll probably have 40 pounds of meat.
Right.
And it's going to last a lot longer.
Yeah, it's going to be packaged properly and professionally. And
so, for me, as far as consuming that fish and making the most of it, I just can't see any better way than using the processors down there. And I get it, it's expensive, but you're going to get a lot more yield out of your fish. And so my recommendation would be to kind of ahead of time, see what you actually want to bring back, what you can even hold in your freezer. Because you get a couple of big fish like that. Let's say you're on a 2-day trip and you get 400 pounders. That's a lot of fillets. That's a lot to put away.
it is.
And a lot more than actually I bet a lot of people realize. I very, very commonly hear a guy go on a 3-day trip and he comes back and he's like, oh man, I had to buy a freezer. It's super common.
Yeah,
Super, super common. Chris was saying, that happened to him too. and that's because you just don't realize how much 80 pounds or 100 pounds of pure meat is, and how much
It's
room that's going to
amazing.
take.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't normally have that kind of space at home. So yeah, it's just kind of a different way of looking at it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But like you say, man, if you want that fish to last for a year or over that, man,
Over a
there's no
year.
better way to do it than to have it
Yeah.
processed. And then you've got sashimi parties in your future and, just endless
Right.
ways to enjoy that fish.
Yep. Yep.
The hit says white sea bass. What are the must needs if you're going sea bass fishing, Sam?
A hook and a sinker, probably the
Probably.
must need. Yeah.
Yeah, or halibut fishing with those guys on the Endeavor the other day. Same thing.
Most of those fish are still being caught on squid. That's the one thing we have had through this warm water this year. When the water was cold, there was no squid, and now the water's warm and there's squid. So
Yeah.
it's kind of opposite,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
whatever, that's the situation. So a lot of these guys are catching some fish on squid. There are also catching some fish on fin bait as well.
Yeah.
But that's going to be also a hook. So a variety of sinkers, a variety of hooks for each kind of bait. If you wanted to catch them on an artificial, definitely your old school tatty, white glow jig with a swirl on the back, red swirl. But these flukes have definitely kind of taken over a lot of our market as far as artificials for halibut and white sea bass. They do perform well, and they don't always outperform a squid, but there are times when they'll do just as good. And so guys prefer catching them that way. And for you guys that aren't sure what that looks like or what I'm talking about, is these are the sudden impact 8-inch fluke. Pretty much been the go-to. This thing's probably caught more white sea bass and yellowtail and halibut than any other lure, I think. But probably a close second would be that hookup bait. Can you grab that one, white one on the corner there? No, way over there.
Here.
Way over there. Also, Hookup Baits has a good one that we've been selling. They have like this sea bass special, and it's a very similar type of thing here. It's a larger white plastic. Now the Hookup Bait is kind of convenient because it already comes rigged, ready to go. So you just tie it on and start fishing. So those would probably be the only other two things that I would recommend having in your box is the Hookup Bait and sudden impact white fluke.
All right, good stuff. And best of luck if you get out and get to fish some sea bass. Emmanuel Navedo from Florida. His whole family's watching, sending you all our very best. I think you have a tropical storm going into some part of Florida, if I read that correctly. So I hope you're okay,
Yeah.
Emmanuel. Doesn't sound like it's too big a deal, but there you go. Exumchar Fishing 247. Is it safe to eat barracuda? Because some barracuda, is there a barracuda that isn't safe to eat? I've heard something about
I guess
that,
that's
right?
stuff that lives in the reefs there in the
Yeah.
tropical areas.
Yeah.
They get that I forget whatever that
The
toxin or whatever from
yeah.
the reefs,
Yeah.
because I guess they eat bait fish that eat reef, material.
yeah,
And so they get to where that can be an issue. But I think our barracuda out
are
here,
fine to eat.
you can eat them all day long.
Yeah, and they're good if you take really good care of them. So that's for sure. Chris Pro, good evening, guys. Love your show. Thank you, Chris. Good to have you with us. When you've been seasick really bad, any suggestions on how to get over that psychological effect? When all your senses are on high alert with smell and visual. Oh my God, there's nothing worse than being. My poor dad,
Yeah.
he used to, and he would go and just go with us and throw up the whole time, but he'd
Jeez.
just go to be with us and
Yeah.
make sure we're getting the experience. So I don't get seasick. So
Yeah, I don't really think there's a thing you can do like a trick. I know that by far the best thing I've seen overall as a solution is using the patch,
Yes.
that transderm patch. I mean, I think that I haven't seen anything better than that. So but that's something obviously you got to take ahead of time, and you got to have a prescription for that. They do make Bonine and Dramamine, a seasick type pill. I think most of the times you kind of want to take that ahead of time as well. But if you're already sick, you would probably take anything. I mean, being seasick is about the worst feeling you can have, not only because of how sick you are, because you just know you got 18 hours before you can get
Trapped.
back or whatever.
Can't get off the boat.
Can't do anything,
Yeah.
to solve it. You can't just take an aspirin and it'll go away. But that being said, at that point, you kind of just try anything. I think one of the things that people will say is you want to have your stomach kind of not empty,
Yeah.
so you don't have a lot of the acids going around. So you don't want to have something that's too acidy, like pasta or that kind of thing. So something that'll just kind of fill your stomach, like A lot of times they'll say crackers and 7-Up. That'll help. A lot of times what that does, it just makes it when you throw up, it's easier to throw up because it's going to happen anyway. The worst thing you want is the dry heaves, man. That's even worse. But if you can try to keep something in your stomach, maybe when you first start feeling it, instead of kind of trying to fight it off, go out and get some fresh air. A lot of people will try to just kind of fight it, and they'll go in the galley or they'll go stay in their bunk. And once it kind of starts, I think it's going to keep getting worse and worse. So
Yeah.
if you don't go outside and just try to kind of shake it off, that'll probably be the worst thing. But you got to do that right when you first start feeling it come on.
Yeah.
And maybe search out a little bit of food to put in your stomach right at the beginning there. And maybe even before you leave the dock, have a light sandwich, like a ham and cheese sandwich or something along those lines to try to do it. But yeah, it's once you're sick, it's pretty much got you.
I have to concur. The patch, I think, what I've seen some guys who really are bad, and then the patch cures it. Now, Doug Tilk, the guy that was on the trip, he swears to me that there was a girl who would get seasick every time she put the patch on. And one night before they were going to go fishing, he put a Band-Aid on her. And she went out and goes, God, these patches are great, And so I don't know if there was a placebo effect there or what it was, but there you have it. I don't know, man. I think people really get seasick, and it sucks.
It sucks, man.
Now,
I've been seasick before. It's no good. I mean, I've been able to shake it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is doing it right. As soon as you feel it coming on, you got to do something.
I've been sick, and I wasn't sure when I was running the little commercial boat out of Redondo, I'd get sick once in a while, and then I'd go like, I just have had no sleep. That's why I'm sick. But it was like, I hope the boat sinks because this is preferable to suffering like this for another day or whatever.
It's bad.
Now, let me ask you this question. I'm going to delve into your personality a little bit. When you walk outside and you see a guy vomiting at the rail, is your first instinct to reach out and hug him? Is your first instinct to say, oh, that's awful, or do you start laughing right away?
No, I don't start laughing, but...
Now, be honest.
No, I don't start laughing. I mean...
No, they laugh.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, sometimes I do.
I feel bad for him. I'm not going to say I'm going to try to help him.
Yeah.
But,
why is it funny? It is funny.
I don't know why. It's not funny to me.
It's not funny?
Yeah, but unless it's someone that you really know and then you just... I guess, but if it's a random person, I wouldn't.
Well, yeah, no, I don't break into laughter when it's a random person, but I don't know. I just thought I'd ask you that question. I guess you can tell what I do when I see it, right? Not all the time, though. It's, if it was Dan, I'd be very sad. I'll be sad. Bob Gifford.
On the seasick thing, the patch,
Yeah.
4 hours before you leave, make sure you do that because I've been sick on it when I haven't put it on early enough.
Yeah, so Bob was mentioning, okay.
Another thing, I always try and get to the back of the boat, less motion and fresh air.
Yeah, Bob was mentioning that trying to put the patch on well before you leave. Technically,
4 hours.
That thing's supposed to be good for 3 days. So I would say you put it on the night before.
Yeah.
I mean, put it on 12 hours ahead of time or something like that, So you want to have it in your system ready to go. Also, he mentioned that the back of the boat or the stern is definitely going to be a place where the boat moves less. Not always going to move, not that it doesn't move at all, but you're right. If you're in a bunk and you could try to find a bunk that's further to the back, that's going to be your best situation.
Well,
you get that diesel fuel back there too, man.
Yeah, so Dan's mentioning that on some boats you do get a diesel smell, so you're going to have to kind of figure that out. But you're definitely going to get less movement, and maybe you try to lay down in a way where your face is away from the doorway. I personally like that area just because I get some fresh air already.
Yeah.
Maybe the diesel doesn't bother me as much, but I know for some people it does. So
Yeah. Well, Bob was the guy I had in mind when I was saying, I know a guy who gets really, we went on the Independence for 5 days and we got our teeth kicked in.
Oh, yeah.
That was some nasty weather. And he was out, eating and doing fine and everything else. So he's the guy I point to on that patch thing.
Yeah.
That seems to work pretty well. All right, let's move ahead from vomiting to Mario Masson. And Mario says, yeah, I did go on the Freedom, and the crew was great.
Awesome.
They're great guys.
They are.
Gary and Trevor and all the boys on there. Steve, nice. Back to sticking a knife in my puñal en mi espalda. Yes, drinking to get through this show. Started early. Very good. I got an extra bottle of tequila in the car if you need it, Steve. Acme had a nice big sea turtle swimming under my boat for a couple of minutes in Huntington Harbor over the weekend. Really cool to see. Yeah, a bunch of those turtles get stuck in these warm water places. Philip fishes one of them all the time, and I've been in there with him. and he catches stripers back there and some other stuff. But there's like a whole herd of these freaking
Oh wow.
turtles that got caught during an El Nino, and then they got in that warm water, and then they poked their nose out in the wintertime. They're like, "Whoa," and back in. So that's where they hang out now. Very cool. Steve Nice, you threatened to, what the hell is with, you threatened to ban me last week for a question. Okay.
Alrighty.
Yes, I told Mackie to do it, but he's trying to show some mercy on you. However, I'm sure that's starting to run thin. All right, where am I now, man?
Edward Z.
Edward. God, there's a lot of comments on here. What a show tonight. As I look to catch up, because I don't know what I did here.
So Edward Z's asking, he's good
Yeah,
evening,
go ahead.
guys. He says he's heading out Friday evening on a 2-day. Seems like the good bluefin tuna slowed down maybe due to the hurricane. Hopefully we still get blessed on the Voyager. So I don't know. Is that hurricane
There's
affecting
no hurricane
any of
around
our
here, is
weather?
there?
Well, they got the stuff down there
In Cabo?
yeah, was it in Cabo or
Florida?
Florida?
Yeah, that's not doing
It's off,
anything
but
to
it's
us.
off of Baja.
Off of Baja.
Oh.
I think that's gone.
That's dissipated, yeah.
Uh,
I don't know if that's affected us.
Edward, the good news is the Poseidon had limits of bluefin tuna today. So I think things are ticking in the right direction. And not all that often do you see like really slow fishing and somebody get a score like that and then it goes back to slow. It seems like it will start to progress now. So hopefully that's what's going on. Sal Mercado. Hey, Sal, what's going on? Guys, thanks a million for all the education. Now I'm just making Eddie bombs and giving them away to buddies. Nice going, dude. Keep the
job.
tutorials coming. Nice going, Sal. Thanks for checking in. Rob S., 5-gallon Harbor Freight barrel fresh water and a bit of borax soak those reels.
Yeah, it's something you could do. I mean, I think the question was kind of more
When you're on a
aimed at-
trip.
you're on the trip, yeah, not when you get home. But even when I get home, just fresh water, right out of the hose. It's probably as good as anything. They do sell like these Saltex, Saltoy type stuff. Most of that stuff's really kind of more intended for like your outboard or your boat. But for your reels, just fresh water.
Rob S., or that was Rob S. Tony Gonzalez, Sam, reel covers work good too. Keep the splash off your reels when traveling.
So on that, Tony, I would say that it's okay, but it actually is going to kind of trap that salt water, and the water's going to get in underneath the reel cover no matter what. So I would kind of contest that just a little bit. That fresh water, there's just nothing like it. That's just going to be the only thing that I know that you can get easily that's going to dissolve the salt water.
There's like 500 questions on here tonight.
500?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
man.
a ton, man.
Order the
You're not
wings.
getting any wings anytime soon. Barbara Rivera, which is Michael Limon's mom. Barbara, how are you? I got to meet Barbara a couple times. In fact, she came over for her birthday the other day with Michael, and it was great. It was a really good time. Barbara, thanks for joining us here tonight. Steve, you'll get more for the dartboard than your hats, I find, at the dollar store. Okay. Wow. What did I do to Steve? Did I do something? Step on his toe last time or something?
That's just the way he shows that he loves you.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can see that. All right, Steve, thank you very much. Rob S., you're right, Phil. Getting the Endeavor is work of God on the waiting list. Yeah, it's tough to get on the Endeavor. It really, really, really is. That's why the other day when Eddie called me and said, I got 4 spots, and I sent it to a couple guys that I knew right away, and then I put it out there, and it booked up ASAP because Tucker does such a great job, as evidenced by, Doug went on that trip, and like you say, man, that's like, we've been fishing all our whole lives and never seen a score like that.
Never.
Unbelievable. Yes, for sure. Ken Trenholm. Ken, how you doing? Hello, Friedman Adventures family. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Ken. Say hi to your mom for me. Rob S., do not use wire hooks for those bluefin. They straighten out the hook, and they are mean, heavy hooks.
Yeah, so I think what he means is a light wire hook.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's kind of confusing in a way because it's not like they have a light wire and a heavy wire and that's it. They got about 5 different thicknesses of hooks. That Owner Mutu size 4 is probably about the best hook in a small size. That one, also the blacktail hook is a nice one too, but that Mutu is a little bit thicker. So if you're using line 40-pound test or better, I'd probably go with the Owner. If you're using like 20 to 30-pound test, that blacktail hook's pretty good.
Excellent. Our friends over at what is it? Blacktail. I was going to say
Black
Blackfin
Widow?
Sport Fishing. No, Black Widow. All right. Wide open. Where are the bluefin tuna now? They are 100 miles west of San Diego, according to the Highliner. I didn't lay that out, or I didn't even get more specific. Probably up there by the Snail Bank, up there like west of San Clemente Island, maybe between the west end of Catalina and the west end of Clemente, somewhere in there. I'm guessing is about 100 miles, or maybe a little bit up toward Nicholas. It could be in one of those areas. I think that's where that bite is going on, but I'm not 100% sure. All I know is the Poseidon had limits, and I heard some other very encouraging stuff going on today, even unrelated to the bluefin bite. Like I think yellows at the Coronado Islands, maybe a kelp patty yellowtail trip that was pretty productive. So things look like they are definitely headed in the right direction, wide open. And I think that's where that bluefin tuna is. Sam, you've got some hooks to show everybody.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to keep going?
I'm a little ahead.
Oh, okay. Let's let this happen. All right. Steve, Sam will know why the bite is off on his 11-day with Phil on the water at the same time. Go south, Sam. Very far south.
Well, he's going to be there just as long. Well, you on the 8-day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he on that trip, Steve?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank God, huh? You're not going to have him run the shop, are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
boy, do sales take a dip during that time of the year, huh?
No, he's actually going to be laid up. He's having a knee surgery.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to come over and kick him in the knee.
Well, he won't be here. He'll be laid up.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Go to
he's
his
laid
house.
up when he is here.
Come on. Give me another one.
Tim W. Hey, Phil and Sam, I have a couple of the 100-gram Daiwa Saltiga tungsten. Any advice and hooks that will make it swim right? Excellent question, Tim. Is that what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Whoa, we're way ahead of you, Tim.
So
I like
guys,
that.
a lot of guys are making their own hooks, but these guys here from BFT Tackle make a good one that's pretty popular. It's a little bit on the smaller side, but still kind of has a decent gauge to the hook wire. Also, the one from Mustad, they have this J-Assist 5 in like a 9.0. That's the sizing on the package. And so that's a good one too. So these other ones here, they have them in a 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. That 2.0 is about the right size, and the other one, I know it sounds like crazy, but a 9.0 is about the size for that one.
9-0.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's right after 8 before 10.
You think Michael Limon is here for the chicken wings or to watch our show?
Oh.
Which one? What's this?
I think it says My Little Pony.
Oh,
All right.
we're
what's
breaking
next?
our heart here.
Oh, I'm watching this.
All right, yeah, I can
CW.
tell.
Cue ball.
Cue ball just gives us and fishing. Thank you so much. Oh no, yeah, Ernie Montano retracted his message. Probably something about Steve. Tyler Tanaka. I know this sounds crazy. Yeah, it does. But at Cedros, catching 10 plus 25 to 35 pound hard fighting yellows in 2 hours for 4 days straight will tire you out so much you'll want to go drift for a halibut with a beer. He's probably right. I mean, I've been there before where you catch so many fish, you're like, let's do something else.
I think what's hard is it's only 10.
Oh, that's right.
Not even
Yeah,
that many. That's a slow day right there.
I know,
Yeah.
right? It's just full speed.
Probably
huh?
20, 25 a day, maybe.
Well, per person?
Yeah,
You're on a ponga with 2 guys?
3.
3 guys?
Oh, no, yeah, two other guys, so 3 total.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
Wow.
the captain. It's
So you get
insane.
50 yellows on a ponga, no big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah.
No big
That's
deal.
great.
It's just crazy. I mean, it's
Well, I mean, I fished at long range down there,
Yeah.
so I know what it's like.
Right.
But I've never been on a ponga down there, but that's got to be
crazy.
more bitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should
That's
do it
cool.
one day.
I have to. I really
You
do.
should.
Well, I'm trying.
100%
Have any
you should.
time, man?
Yeah, you do.
I
You
don't.
got nothing but time.
Now, what would they do at the Orange County Fair without me? They wouldn't survive.
To hell with them.
Yeah. All right, Rob S. Costco freezers. I have 120 pounds of bluefin tuna. Come on over. Big boys hit the kite. Yum, yum. Bait killed them. Rob S. Man, I'll be over for my bluefin after the show. Daniel Lightfoot sitting out there in the audience says, hey, Sam. Oh, no, this is Michael. I learned how to fillet a fish. What filleting knife would you recommend?
Ooh, for Michael. But you got to be careful. But,
You do.
I'd probably recommend like a 6-inch breaking knife. I think you can get one of those like Dexter Russell or Victronox.
That's a
something
good
like that.
knife.
Yeah.
That Victorinox a good knot. That was before my time, but
Yeah.
Daniel Holloway recommends that one.
Victorinox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those that the
How much is a Victorinox?
$45?
That's not
That-
bad.
yeah. That or that Dexter Russell.
Are Forstners a thing anymore?
So they were bought out by Victorinox.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
where they
so
went.
you can still get like the wooden handle ones
Yeah.
too. Like, I think those are more expensive, like $80 or something.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Doug Ruben El Sueño. The yellowtail are still biting down at the Coronado Islands. You better get down here soon. That has definitely been a place that has been so consistent. It shut down for a little bit. They had a 3-degree water temperature drop. Water got a little dirty.
Came roaring back.
Roaring back,
Yeesh.
man. Just excellent fishing. Thank you, Doug, for the update. Andy Favela, going off the fish processing, are there any options after a trip in San Pedro if you do end up coming home with 100+ pounds? That's a really good question, Andy. You know,
I don't
there
think
isn't.
so. I don't
Scott
think so.
Buchert sent me, and I never followed up on it because it was Scott Buchert. He's up in Alaska, and he sent me a mobile fish processor in Orange County. I can go
Yeah,
back and look. Have
I
you
think
heard about
there's a
that, or
guy
is that a
who, like-
BS thing or something?
No,
or-
I think there is a guy. You know, unfortunately, I don't have the information, contact info for him. But I think what he does is that he'll meet you. You have to make an appointment. He'll meet you and pick up his fish, and then he'll take it back to his house or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm not really sure.
I'm not either.
I don't know. all
That
the
sounds like
details,
kind of like
but,
familiar.
I mean, if the guy is legit, I mean,
And does a good job. Who
it'd be
cares?
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
don't have the info on it.
Maybe he's listening to Tackle Shop Confessions.
Could
You
be.
never know. Calico Chris, man, we haven't seen you for way too long. Of course, he's been in Alaska and all over the place. Hey, I've been catching, not watching. No kidding, Chris. Way to go. And work in between. What would you recommend? 1 or 2 squids on an orange leadhead? Or letterhead. He wants to have a
Yeah.
nice letterhead on his stationery.
So, I mean, too, if you can get them, you know, it really depends on how much bait you have to begin with, you know. So if the boat has tons of bait, and sometimes they do, they'll literally braille it and they got, you know, they're jugged with bait and they'll let you use 2. So if they got that much bait, I would use 2. Most of the times they don't, and so you're just using 1. So if you can, I would use 2.
All right, excellent question. Chris, good to hear from you. Frank Applegate, hi, Phil and Sam. Why don't have fish cleaning like San Diego? I guess up here, right? Why don't we have it?
I don't know, next.
Do you know,
No,
Frank?
I really don't, man. I wish there was a better answer, but
I think
I gotta
if I
imagine
had to guess,
complicated, yeah.
if I were going to start a business, I'd want to start it where I'm going to be sure that that grade of fish is going to be around for, and I think San Diego is still a safer bet, even though this stuff's all up here right now.
yeah, but it's still only a couple months a year.
That's true.
You know, so you can't have any business for 2-3 months
That's
a
true.
year.
That's
you know,
true.
So
Yeah.
those guys have it down there all year long.
That's right. They got the long range thing and everything else. Hector 10 or X. Hector, good to see you. Hello, Friedman Adventures family. All my best to you, Hector. David Bretoy. Hello, Phil and Sam. Finally going out on the Freedom next week. Sam, I was going to use knife rod and double that up as my 60-pound fluoro outfit during the day. Thoughts on that? Thank you so much, David, for a great question.
Yeah, that'd be fine. You know, there really hasn't been a whole lot of fish being caught in the daytime on 60-pound, except for maybe on a sinker rig, you might try that. So at this point right now, I'd say you'd probably be okay without really knowing exactly what you have. I think you're probably going to be okay with that kind of switch up.
Kai Fish Killer's in Florida and says excessive zinc in Florida. Yes, Arcuda are great. So I guess you can eat them now, right? You're okay with that?
Here, yeah.
Oh, here he's talking about. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Excellent. All right. Calico Chris. My son Matthew has been killing it in freshwater and saltwater. Nothing better than that, Chris. It was his birthday weekend, so we are going pretty hard. I will send you the pictures for everyone to see soon. Best of luck. Happy birthday, Matthew. It's great to have you with us. Kai Fish Killer. Ginger capsules helped get rid of seasickness, but don't take too many of those things. I took 100 milligrams, was too much for me. When I took about 500 milligrams, I felt much better. I was on the Pacific Dawn years ago.
Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe 1,000.
Yeah, I think you took 500 and you felt like crap, and then you took 100, right? Because
I don't
you,
know.
Couple down, it says 1,000.
Maybe 1,000.
Oh, 1,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
instead
there
of
you go.
100, yeah.
all right, gotcha. All right, so take 500, not 1,000. Sounds good. Rob S. Eat food and patches, no alcohol, and you'll be fine. Get your sea legs, and you're gonna be okay. Yeah, I know. It's easy to say that for all of us who don't get seasick, but man, if you get seasick, it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's really bad. All right, Emmanuel, or no, Rob S. Or no, Emmanuel Navarro, back from Florida. Emmanuel, good to see you. I do not get seasick, but they'll sell motion seasickness bracelets. And you just adjust the sensitivity on them.
You know,
Do those things work?
I've heard of people say that they work really good.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure exactly what they do. They got like an electrical pulse or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But I know that the guys that have asked me for them say that that's the only thing that works for them. So it's kind of like anything else, right? This is kind of like a personal thing. Every human body's different. So I got to imagine, those things have been around forever. I mean,
Yeah.
C-band or something like that it's
Yeah.
called. And so
Maybe it works.
maybe they work.
Yeah. Worst seasick thing, I'm just remembering this. I was in the Philippines and I was taking a ferry, like a 4-hour ride. It was a freaking like tropical storm or hurricane. Like it blew the roof off our hotel when we got in later.
Jeez.
So like there's 100 people in there, 98 of them are puking their guts up, throwing up in bags, and because you couldn't barely go outside. So I went outside and there was some other guy smoking a cigarette out there, and I go, "What's up? What, you're in the Navy or something?" And he goes, yeah. And I go, "Man, those poor people in there." And he goes, "Yeah, it's brutal, isn't it?" And so it was
Imagine the crew.
oh my God. But it was freaking
Well,
nasty.
A long time ago, for a short summer, I worked on the Calian Express.
Yeah.
It was too much, man.
Oh, that's gonna be full
People
speed
throwing
vomiting.
up oh man, and you try to tell them,
Go overboard or whatever.
Do it over here. Then we'd have a bucket that we would just try to wash it off, but they'd never make it. All over themselves. You're just like,
Oh,
man,
my
this is
God.
too much, man.
So half your times, clean it up.
Yeah.
Vomit. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a nice thing. All right. Let's see. Tony Gonzalez says,
Oh.
for seasickness, there's nothing better than a breakfast burrito with extra tapatio. Rob
Start
S.
with that.
Yeah, I like that, man. Hydrate, drink plenty of water. Easy to dehydrate on these boats.
I'm sure that's be part of it. Yeah.
That's a really important thing. Most of the time when you have a headache, they say drink a bunch of water before you start taking pills because you're probably dehydrated. So there you go. Yes,
I
Chris.
have a quick story on this. With the patch, they last 3 days. I was on the Royal Star trip with you,
Mhm.
and I put the patch on, and it was day 2 in the morning. I took a shower, and it came off. I'm like, okay, well, I have several others, so I put another patch on. So I was out there back on the deck trying to tie a jig on. I was like, wow, I can't even put the line through the eyelid, and my mouth is totally dry. Well, lo and behold, I had the patch on my ear, and the other one was on my foot
Oh.
from the shower. So I would double down on the scopolamine, which is the transderm patch. So yeah, check your feet.
Yeah.
Are you going to retell that story or?
That's all you, man.
Oh.
I'm the tackle guy.
So anyway, Chris ended up by an error of having 2 patches on at the same time, and his mouth got dry. I wasn't listening to the
You
end of
got
it.
dizzy.
I was reading something. He got dizzy and everything else. He OD'd on scalp.
That was a trip where
Follow
the beer tab was way out to here though, so could have been one of the two.
That's how you beat me.
Yeah, that's
That's-
right.
That's funny. Hey, the drug that's active in that, I think I read something about that drug being used for nefarious. Is that a? Oh,
Drug, yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Oh, that's the same thing that's
Nothing
in
happened
that.
to me, though. He was my roommate. We were good.
Oh boy, no. Oh, you slipped the extra one on him, huh?
It was a rough ride back.
Oh my God. All right, well, let's move on from that. Excellent. Calico Chris says, thank you, Mr. Friedman, Sam, and family. Chris, once again, happy birthday to your son. Hope you guys have a really, really great time. All right, Sam, read the next one because I lost my place.
See, Ricky B says he remembers being seasick and having to fish for 20 minutes, go lay down, and come back to the rail, and someone able to get a 25-pound halibut. I'm not sure what
Wow.
happened there. Yeah, maybe he was fishing, and then as soon as it went down, someone got a fish. So maybe he's saying you got to stay at the rail even if you're sick.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I walked up to Cruz Soto. Does he ever come in here and shop?
It sounds
Cruz Soto. I bet
familiar.
he does. And he was like borderline, and I go, hey, how would you like a cup of hot mayonnaise? And I filmed it, and then he started vomiting.
Oh,
And I put it on YouTube years ago, and I looked at it the other day, it had like 35,000 views. And he doesn't care about it. He's good with it. So, all right, I'm trying to be way more mature than those days, like 3 years ago when I was a mere 65. All right, who are we on now?
Cue ball.
Cue ball.
You're lost.
I
That's
know.
where you're at.
Oh, here we are. Cue ball. If it's the guy that stayed up getting drunk and being loud the night before, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
laughing.
maybe, yeah.
That is true. And if he's hanging over the rail in the morning, that's funny stuff. That is true. That's even really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some kid, I'm not laughing. Unless it's Michael, I might laugh a little bit because he's playing games on his phone during our show. But other than Michael, no, I don't think I would do that. All right, Ruben A. Hi guys. Adding to the, I like seasickness. We got to go with this from
That's
now
a
on.
serious subject.
I hope Steve Nyes gets seasick. Yes. Ruben A. Ruben, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. Adding to the seasick comment, always get plenty of rest the night before. Take the motion pill the night before you go to bed, and an hour before takeoff, and take a bottle of NyQuil. Also,
bottle,
mixing
huh?
all this synergism, I think they call that when you mix drugs. God knows what that's going to do. That sounds pretty brutal, doesn't it? Would you do that?
No.
So
Pretty crazy.
I'll give you another one. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I was sick in China. I went into the teacher's office, and a Chinese teacher goes, "Oh, come here." She hands me 15 pills, and she goes, "Take those, you'll feel better." So I go over to my apartment, and there's a rugby player from New Zealand who's always there waiting for me. And he had the pot of coffee. I go, "Hey, what's going on?" And I go, "Hey, some Chinese teacher gave me 15." I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Normally what I do is I just take them and see what happens." I'm like, "What?" All right. I took them and I felt better.
All right.
15 freaking pills,
15.
man. It was brutal. All right. Who are we with now? Real time? I love rough water. It clears the rail to allow for less crowded fishing. Well, any of us who, let's be perfectly honest here. I don't know about you, Sam, but any of us who don't get seasick. All right. Hey, are we stalled out on our show here? Oh, no, we're back. Hector X, if you start feeling seasick, take a shot or drink a beer. Now, that sounds like a wise idea. What do you think, Sam?
Try them both.
Ruben A. I'm case none of that works.
Sleep.
Yeah. Oh, in case none of that works, sleep. Yeah.
If you can get to sleep.
If you can get to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so brutal. Chris Pro, thank you everyone for your advice. Thank you, Chris. Kim Herbert from the great state of Missouri. Sam, I like the mellow tackle.
Moon box.
Tackle box last week. How is it compared to the SKB?
Kim, it's not exactly a good comparison. The SKB has built-in shelving for the tackle trays, and so it's a little bit better suited for that kind of configuration. This other box here, it's not bad, and it will take a few trays in like vertically, like how you would in like a little duffel bag or something like that. So in my opinion, it's not as well designed to use the tackle trays that we normally use. It really is kind of just a big box. That being said, the price of it is so reasonable that I think if you kind of take a little bit of time and just try to configure your tackle a little bit better, but it's not really like a plug and play drop in. It's going to work just the way you want. They do sell some accessories that you can put on them that can help you with that. But overall, I think in the amount of space that it takes up, it probably won't be as efficient as the SKB box, but maybe you don't need it to be, and maybe that size will work good enough where you can just kind of throw some things in there and it'll work. So it's a nice box. It's not quite as sturdy or thick as the SKB. I wouldn't really rate it in the same manner. The SKB box is virtually, it is a lifetime box. It actually has a lifetime warranty, whereas this box is a little bit more like the thickness of you would see like one of those folding out, old school type tackle boxes with a little thinner plastic. But that being said, it's kind of a cool little box.
Yes, Chris.
My brother's actual 16th birthday is tomorrow, and he's in Tahoe, and he asked about that case. That's why I was back there. I just sold the gray one
Oh, okay.
right now.
Chris is selling tackle boxes for you.
Cool.
Nice going, Chris.
As long as he doesn't put a Raider sticker on it, that's the deal.
Oh, that's the one on the start, yeah.
You're watching Tackle Shop Confessions at Island Fishing Tqckle, everybody. Sam De La Torre here. Sam, what are the store hours and days that you're open here at this great store?
Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6.
All right, perfect. That was great. And phone number? Yeah, I was
310 707-1205.
All right, good stuff. And once again, if you have any other questions, fire them in here. We're more than happy to answer them. Steve Nye says, "Good night, Phil." Good night, Steve.
Good
Love you,
night.
man. That was a lot of fun.
7 o'clock.
Keep it coming, man. Cue ball. There's epic trips and there's historical trips. Tucker is stacking up the historical trips quite often. As usual, no joke. Man, that guy does fish hard. Have you fished with him?
I have.
Yeah,
I have in the
I have
past.
too.
Yeah, a rock hot trip. But yeah, I mean, and even then, I mean, all the signs of a guy who just kind of knows a little bit more than the rest of us.
Yeah, I
For
know.
sure. For sure.
And combines work ethic with it. He
Yeah.
works his,
Oh, yeah.
his
Yeah.
tail off. I got to watch my language tonight because I'm a little tired.
Is that what
So
it is?
I haven't said anything, I don't think, but it almost has
It's
slipped
the
out.
fair. It's the
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
really good.
yeah. BFT Osborne, 12-hour travel. Rob S. is referring to the Osborne Bank,
That's
which
that's a lot of hours.
is muy cerca de la Isla Santa Barbara,
Like
very
30
close to
30
Santa Barbara
miles.
Island. Yeah, that's a long way up there for our San Diego based boat. Kim Herbert says, "Phil, for the gold medal for Albacore predictions." Thank you very much, Kim. I love you. In the great state of Missouri. That is the show me state, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I thought so. Tim Marquez, follow-up question. How do you clean your reels when you come back from a trip and before you store them? That's a very good question.
Yeah, I mostly just regular, tap water. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of dish soap in there. I mean, a very, very little bit if I think my reels are a little bit dirty, I guess. But mostly just regular tap water. Rinse them down, wipe them down. As far as storage, I do have some reel bags that I store them in. One of the things you do want to do, though, is that you want to make sure they completely dry before you close up your reel bag if you have them in an enclosed bag. So you might even let them dry for a couple of days, especially your line. If you have top shots, take your top shots off to make sure that the braid can breathe and dry as well. So I would say you make sure they're rinsed down pretty good, but make sure they also are dried very good before you put them away.
All right, good stuff. Cue Ball puts the icon up of a hand to explain to me, which I do need because he noticed that I was having trouble with that. And he says, that means hi, guys. I got it, Cue Ball. You helped me, man. Now I can deal with that from now on in the future. Appreciate it, man. Red Pill, evening, gentlemen. Great show. Hey, Sam, I have a 2-day on the Pride that leaves this Friday, Mackey's favorite boat. What setups should I bring? Any last-minute recommendations or tips for me? Thanks in advance.
On that boat there on a 2-day, it seems like there's so many options. You got to bring everything. It's a tough one, too, because it's a smaller boat. But, I mean, everything from a bass, fly line outfit, 15 or 20-pound test, all the way up to your knife jig outfit, which is 100, 130-pound test. So as far as your tackle, it's kind of everything in the kitchen sink. And even your terminal tackle, everything down from a size 4, bait hook on both maybe a J hook and even a circle hook for some daytime tuna fishing, and maybe your J hooks for some daytime yellowtail fishing, all the way down to a big, J hook for possibly some dropper loop fishing for 40, 50-pound yellowtail.
Yeah.
So right now, this is kind of a, what we really want out of our trips is to have so many options. But on the tackle side, that means you got to be prepared for almost anything. So there's really nothing that I would say is a big secret that's kind of surfaced the last couple of days, nothing like that, except for that it seems like every single type of fishing that kind of boat has available to it is an option. Everything from sea bass to tuna to bass. I mean, it's everything.
You literally could catch, I'm serious now, from a blue perch to a 200-pound bluefin tuna.
Yeah.
That's how
everything.
silly it is right now.
It is.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Steve Bermudez wants to know, are the California fish processors regulated by the FDA? I don't think so.
Sure, they got something in the, what do they call it? More of your food safety,
Yeah, maybe that.
Maybe more of a state thing or a county thing or something like that. But yeah.
Hey, Steve, we'll look into that for you. Check back in 2029.
Yeah.
Dave Betroy, follow-up. Bringing 20, 25, 30, and 40-pound outfits as well.
What kind of trip was he on again?
I forget.
Sorry, David. Let me kind of go back here. Oh yeah, that's his. He's going on the Freedom next week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean you got to take all that stuff, and the
And,
tackle is just
one
a lot.
heavier, probably.
Yeah, well, I think he said he had a knife jig. He
Okay.
was going to use it as a 60-pound rig.
Okay.
So yeah, I think you're pretty good there.
Sal Mercado. Sal, good to have you back again. First time, day and a half. Fishing coming up soon. Is a Transex 500 and 400 be inappropriate to bring on the trip 65-pound braid? Excuse the novice question. Sal, don't even worry about it.
No, definitely going to be part of your trip, possibly. You know, it depends on where you go and what boat you're on. I mean, definitely for the big tuna, when you start talking nighttime fish, that's not going to be the kind of rod and reel you're going to use. But for your daytime stuff, like kind of what the what boat was that caught today?
The Poseidon?
The Poseidon, whatever.
You got
they
limits of
got,
bluefin?
probably on the more like school size fish.
It sounded like it.
20 to 50 pound fish. That 400 or 500 are going to be fine on your Trans X.
Yeah, I'm so freaking tired right now. You have no idea. The sleep
Is that the Pontiac Trans X?
Yeah, I think so. I'm so freaking tired right now.
The big block?
I need some coffee. Go get me some coffee. James Marcial. James, hey, Phyllis. Is he talking to me? Or
Hey, Phyllis.
this
Hey,
is
fellas.
James.
Hey, hell, fellas.
One tip that we have from a Navy old sailor: when you're starting to feel sick, get your toothbrush out and brush your teeth with your mint flavored toothpaste. It really helps.
Well, I know mint does a lot of different things for sure. I know in Mexican culture, you know, mint leaves are used for a lot of different kind of home remedies, but
Like what?
all kinds of like stomach stuff, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I mean, you know, for like gas, things like that, it's a pretty common thing, a mint leaf. You never heard of that?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you did. You just asking me?
No, I'm so tired. I can't remember
Phyllis,
what it's used for.
Next question, please.
You got to see the crap. They're back to China again. Freaking, I had a sore throat. This Chinese girl buys a branch of a freaking tree for $100 and makes a freaking tea out of it.
Frickin'.
And then she gives it to me, and I drink it. And then she asked me in the morning, "How did that help?" I said, "No, I didn't do anything. I took some NyQuil. That helped." Western medicine is no over there with some people. Kim Herbert, on lever drag reels, are the drags the side cylinder only? I've never opened up one for service. I've been given old TLD 5. That's never been serviced. I'm starting to read like an absolute moron at this point.
So they are some reels are on both sides of the reel, but and some of them are single. On that TLD5, it's going to be on only one side. It'll probably be on the left side for sure on that. But those are nice little reels. You can get a drag washer. We sell them here, Kim, if you want us to send you one. But Carbon-Tex makes a replacement drag washer for that. Pretty simple reel on the inside, though. You're going to see when you open it up, there's not much to it.
All right, good stuff. Steve Bermuda, speaking of seasickness, poor Cruz.
Poor
Cruz Soto. And after that, he invited me to perform his wedding ceremony, which I gladly did.
All right.
Yes. All right. Austin McCain, is it? All right. Austin McCain. Like Lucas McCain. I recently went on an overnight and I bought C-bands and ginger pills. An hour before Dramamine, the night before. Boy, this guy's loading up. And an hour before I went out, and I was fine. So there you are. That sounds like it worked really well. Did you mix all that stuff together?
It could be. Maybe better than 15 pills.
I don't think you're supposed to do that, are you?
I don't know, yeah.
It worked, I think. But yeah, mixing
Is
up.
that your recommendation?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to be sued for, some guy overdosing on too many Dramamines. And I think you're supposed to take like one medication and stick to it.
I would say.
Pretty sage advice for most people. Tyler Tanaka, Sam, what connection knot do you use on your surface iron and yo-yo iron setups? What is your normal braid and top shot combo? Brands and pounds. Tyler, take it away, Sam.
So I'm using just the Albright knot or a modified Albright knot. I'll use that 10 turns down, 10 turns back. As far as my braid and top shot, 65-pound braid and about 100 to 120 yards of mono, 40-pound and 50-pound. And that XXX Iser smoke is my favorite.
All right, very good. Thank you, Sam. Jose Gravara. When using the patch, clean the area with alcohol and put a Band-Aid over the patch. They tend to fall off when you're sleeping. That's a good idea.
heard of that.
Like you wouldn't have had that problem, maybe, Chris, if you
Shower.
had a Band-Aid. Oh, that's right. They come off in the shower?
If you clean behind your ears.
Oh, yeah. Don't clean behind your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Hector X. Phil, are you guys still uploading your shows on Apple Podcasts? I enjoy listening to the shows at work.
You're not, huh?
Hector, I've fallen a little
Oh,
bit behind
man.
on that during the fair time, but I apologize to you, and I promise you that tomorrow I will upload 10 shows. I will upload 10 shows, and I appreciate you being so gentle about that. because I really deserve a kick in the arse. Thank you, Hector. I will do that. All right, Salty George. I just bought an Avid HXW and spooled it with 100-pound braid. What would be a good rod for that baby?
A lot of good ones, man. You would want something that's going to be 7.5 foot, and something where the higher braid, the higher rating is going to be over 100. So something 60 to 130, 80 to 130. There's a lot of nice rods out there from United Composites, Seeker, CalStar, but even you got some stuff from like Daiwa. They make a good one. Shimano makes a good one. Okuma makes a good one. Graphtec. They all have something, but definitely the rod that you're going to want to pick for that is going to be the one in which the top rating is going to be higher than 100.
Dzung Duong, who is a fantastic human being. It's good to see you, my friend. Hi, Phil. Sam, what tackle setup that you can recommend to cast a lightweight popper the farthest for bluefin foaming? I had a 9-foot jig stick with a Trinidad 20A and cannot cast far enough.
That's about as good as you're going to get there. I know some guys do use the Tranx 500. That seems to be a popular reel for that kind of fishing. So you might try that out as an option. Also, too, as far as your jig stick, you might want to have something that's a little lighter. A lot of times those poppers are a lot lighter than a surface iron is. So, you might be okay with that Trinidad 20, but maybe go to a little bit lighter rod, or you might try a Tranx 500. I know a lot of guys use that reel specifically to get a little bit more distance with the popper.
All right, Austin McCain says, going to San Clemente Island tonight. Any last-minute tips for yellows? I'll give you one before Sam gives you the technical, and that is when you're the anchor drop, get up and get ready to drop or loop fish, because those fish are biting at night many times, so you definitely want to be up for that. Any technical kind of advice for him, Sam?
That's about it. Yeah, time in the water, you gotta be fishing as soon as they're ready to go. They're gonna be fishing some dropper loop squid right away. In the daytime, depending on what's going on activity, there has been a little bit of surface iron action. Not a whole lot over there, but mostly live bait. But definitely mostly in the morning, in the dark, and kind of right at daylight. So be fishing hard.
All right, very good. Reggie Wynn joins us. Reggie, good evening, my friend. How are you? Good evening, gentlemen. Sam, looking forward to fishing with you down in Cedros in a few weeks. Hopefully, we will be able to give Phil some awesome reports. Yeah, some video, too.
Good.
That would be good.
Yeah.
If you could choose some video down there, Reggie, that would be super cool, man. We can get together, and I would love to download that and do something with that. Hector X. Sam, I'm planning a trip next week, either on the Freedom or Old Glory. What will I need for those trips? Also, I'm planning to come down to Island Fishing Tqckle to get what I need. Thank you, guys. Hector, you're number one.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, it's kind of everything in the kitchen sink, everything from 20-pound to 100-pound, so make sure you have all that stuff kind of covered as good as possible. A variety of sizes of hooks, everything from your size 4 Mutu hooks, maybe even some lighter wire hooks, like the Mustad makes a nice lighter wire hook in case it's kind of hard to get a bite. And then your heavy stuff, even the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 size circle, heavy-duty circle hooks, that's going to be just on the live bait. Obviously, you're going to want to have a variety of knife jigs, everything from 200 gram to 500 gram. You want to take a bunch of knife jigs and also the hooks and stuff to kind of go with that. So it's kind of like everything right now, everything from yo-yo jigs, surface iron, knife jigs, all your live bait stuff. You got to take everything.
All right, and Hector, what I would also say to you, you're coming here to Island Fishing Tqckle. Sam is always up on the intel. He knows so he'll be able to make those suggestions right up to the minute for you.
Yeah.
And take really good care of you. You should come on a Monday evening and stay with us for Tackle Shop Confessions. Yeah. More than welcome to do that. And I will have those uploads up tomorrow. Do you believe me?
No.
I get to go to bed and sleep tonight. I've been doing 18-hour days, man. One-man show here. All right, Jonathan K. Good evening, fellas. Sam, what are your top 2 personal nighttime jigging reels?
Oh, wow.
I got that right.
One, I kind of like a lot of different reels. I don't know if I have a top 2. I do like that International 30. I'm just a big fan of bigger reels. But I also like, like a Macaira 16. It's a nice one, too. But I've also used a Torque 40 Narrow that I have kind of hot rodded from Cal Sheets. And then I have that OSHA Jigger 4000 that I use on my jigging rod. So I got a couple different ones that I like a lot. Nothing that I'm kind of married to. I don't really know if that really helps you out a whole lot. But anything that's big and strong is kind of my first go-to. But with some of this jigging stuff, if you're looking at the vertical jigging, speed jigging, then I like that OSHA jigger 4000. It's a good one.
Ken Trenholm says, many moons ago, I was on a trip with a grandfather and his grandson, much like Michael Limon and Dan Lightfoot. He was very sick. The boy finally started fishing and landed in albacore. The deckhand said that was the first one he's seen in 15 years. You got to catch an albacore to get over seasickness.
So easy. I mean,
Yeah.
gosh.
Ken, thank you. Forget this
Could have cut all
Dramamine
this other
crap.
stuff. Yeah.
Did you make him eat the heart?
Yeah, yeah. You made him eat the heart and start vomiting again. Ken Trenholm. So catching an albacore can cure seasickness. I already jumped to that conclusion, but thank you so much.
Fixes
That's
everything.
awesome. And I like Chris's comment. Yeah. Now here, kid, you're done vomiting. Eat this beating, bloody, disgusting heart. AKA the sack. Good evening, gentlemen. Isaac, late to the show. Sam, if you buy a used rod, is there any way to verify the rod? It's the rod advertised.
Yeah, depending on the rod, I guess. I mean, that's kind of a general question. I mean, if it says Daiwa on it, I would imagine it'd be a Daiwa rod.
Is there a market out there where people are stamping on phony names and trying to pass off
You
stuff?
know what? Not really. I mean, I would imagine it's a possibility that,
Yeah, sure.
especially you get into more of a custom rod, not necessarily a used rod, but a custom rod. It could be a used brand new, it could be a brand new custom rod or a used custom rod. I mean, when you build these rods, you can kind of put whatever you want on there. Depending on the rod, if there is a label down at the bottom of the rod, that might be a way. You'd have to take apart the whole handle. But if you have any questions about that, if maybe a rod that you bought, you bring it in and I can maybe help you. I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to identify it as such, but I can at least give you a good idea. If I have seen rods where it says something on there, and I look at them like, there's no way that this is this rod, and so I have seen it before, but not too often, not to where I would be too concerned about it.
I think I jumped over Martin M., right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, Martin, but here we are. For all this daytime bluefin tuna fishing, with a 9-foot PCH extra heavy rod, Saltus 42 speed, 300 yards, 65-pound braid, and 50-pound mono top shot be sufficient for 50 to 100-pound tunas? I'm so excited about this question. You know why? I read it without stumbling, I think.
I know.
Yeah.
It almost got you there. So, Martin, that's about maybe the minimum, I would say, for something like that. On the 50-pound tuna, you'd probably be okay. On the 100-pound tuna, it'd be a little bit tougher. I mean, it could definitely be done, for sure. A lot of guys have caught 100-pound tuna on 50-pound mono. That being said, the rod and the reel and the line's probably not going to be the variable that's going to wear out. It's going to be you. I mean, fighting a fish like that, you might be on a fish for 4 hours on something like that, or it could be 25 minutes. So, it's going to be a matter of how you're able to handle that fish, and you're going to have to pull hard. Don't be afraid to pull hard on a fish like that. But yeah, that's a definite maybe for sure on the 50-pounders. On the 100-pounders, it can happen, but man, you're going to be in for a tussle.
I keep forgetting I'm on camera, and I'm like so beat that I'm like looking. I got to maintain my.
Yeah.
Only a little bit
People are
longer
here
to
to
go.
see you, man.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're here to see you. Cue ball. Throw iron and don't quit. Mitt Green, man. All right, that's good advice. Michael, Ethan, and Owen say hi to you.
Hi, Ethan. Hi, Owen.
That's very nice. Fish guy. Sam, what are the options at Island Tackle for a heavy rod for bluefin that is a little more affordable, budget-minded to match up with an Abbott, what is that, EXW 50, that you would have confidence in? Sam?
We got quite a bit here. Everything from, I think Daiwa makes one that's around 350. Shimano makes one that's about 300. Okuma also about 300 bucks. And Graftic, I think, makes one that's less than 300 bucks. So there's quite a few here, for sure.
We've been at 100 or well over 100 viewers all night long, Sam. The fans love you. They
Here to
adore
see
you.
ya.
They can't wait for Paulina to
They're
be
waiting
here.
for you to fall over sleeping.
Yeah, it's going to happen here in a second. All right, Duzung Duong otra vez, another time with us. Thank you so much. Hi, Phil and Sam. What loop knot do you recommend to tie surface jig or replace ringed hooks that can stand up to a really big fish? Good
Yeah.
question. Great question.
There is that perfection loop. I know some guys use that on heavy line, As far as for surface iron, I just tie it right to the ring. I don't really use a loop knot on a surface iron for sure, or replace the ringed hook. Oh yeah, for a hook that doesn't have a ring, that a perfection loop. That's a knot that I don't think is as strong as like your San Diego knot or something like that, but it definitely does give you a little bit more action on the hook. I would say practice with that thing and try it out. I personally don't think that it's as strong as a San Diego knot. So personally myself, I'll use a ringed hook and I just tie a strong knot to that.
All right, very good. Thank you. Great question. Q Ball says his Macaira, except no substitute. I can cast my 15 as far as my Trinidad. They cast exceptionally well.
Yeah, that's a good reel. That 15T is a really nice reel.
Kim Herbert, Sam, when you service an older, what do you,
Older reel.
Older
Yeah.
reel, what do you recommend to help loosen the screws? Then what do you do? What do you use after to coat the screws, Sam?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Can't you read?
I know. So as far as loosening up, just some WD-40. You kind of want to let that soak down in there. Hopefully, those things aren't in there so bad that they're kind of seized in there. If they are, you might be out of luck on that. As far as just when you put it back together, just some marine grease. Nothing really specific. I mean, we use the cow's grease in here because it displaces water. That's a good one if you have access to that. But any kind of marine grease will work.
All right, great questions, everybody. Thank you so much. This has been a fantastic show. Let's keep it rolling here. Good stuff. Jose Guevara says, Sam, is it possible to splice 100-pound hollow braid to 100-pound hollow meter line and not lose line strength?
Yeah, in fact, Jose, that's going to actually, for that small section of overlap, you're actually going to be multiplying that. So in that small section, you'll be over 100 for sure. So no worry with that. Just going to put the solid into the hollow and then put a couple of nail knots at the end of the hollow and you're good to go. We do that all the time.
All right, Big Block 760, good evening. Good evening to you, my friend Sam and Phil. I'm going out on the Highliner this week. Hey, say hi to Max for me. He's a good kid. What have been the tackle recommendations for overnight trips these past few days? He's been looking at kelps today, and they struck out. And the last time I talked to Max was, I want to say, 4 this afternoon. And he said, we're going bluefin fishing now. So they were going to go. So probably lighter stuff, right? 25, 30, 40.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's just part of the deal. Like we were saying earlier, you got to take everything. You just, I think maybe a few weeks ago, we were kind of looking at it and saying, don't bring any of the small stuff. They're not doing any of that kind of stuff. It's all big fish, that kind of thing. I think nowadays they are looking at some more daytime stuff. That Dorado is going to be kind of coming in our waters, maybe some small yellowfin too. So you're going to be having everything from 20-pound to 100-pound. So you kind of have to take it all.
Yeah, on one hand, I'm trying to save the guy from bringing all the rods, but he's going to be angry at us if he gets out there in the 100-pounder show and he doesn't have his heavy rod. So you're absolutely right.
If you want to take a little bit less gear, maybe don't take every single size. Maybe do like 20, 40, 60, 100, and that'll probably take care of you there. But everything you want to take as light as 20 and as heavy as 100.
Great question. Thank you so much. Kim Herbert says, some rods labeled the very bottom butt section under the end cap. An end cap is a cheap start to looking. To what kind of rod it is?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Thank you so much, Kim. Kai Fish Killer, what y'all think of the Talica 16A for bluefin for a straight 80-pound spectra to 4 to 5 feet of monofluoro?
Yeah, that's a nice reel. I personally like that reel for maybe 40 or 50-pound test, 60 at the top. I generally will go to a little bit bigger reel with lower gears for like an 80-pound top shot. But 80-pound spectra would fit fine on that reel. It's just more depending on how big a fluoro leader you're using.
All right, very good. And Ahmad Graham, I probably mispronounced that. I'm really tired. I apologize to you. Sam, went by your old store, Baja Fish Care, and it was closed to my surprise. Did they move or are they completely closed?
Yeah, they moved right around the corner. They're on Lomita, west of Narbonne.
So he was right there.
Yeah, you're right there, man. Just around the corner.
I noticed how quickly you answered that question. It was a good answer, and I think I can read your mind. Sam, tell everybody out there that we were thrilled to have them with us, but we're going chicken wing hunting now, right?
That's it. You just said it.
I know. But tell everybody how they can come visit you
Oh.
one more time again. Do you have any? Are we doing a special?
Oh yeah, I did want to do.
We are
something.
doing a special. See?
So
Oh, that's going to open the door to more
That's
questions.
already really cheap,
I
yeah.
know it is. You just screwed us.
Does it come with trays?
no. In fact, that's pretty cheap actually.
Here we go, folks. We've got some real specials for you here.
So, this is kind of the time of year we were just talking about. We're kind of adding some lighter gear
Yeah.
to our trips now. So, in the United Composites here, live bait rods. So that's going to be their Gusa rods and their Gusa premiums. So this is kind of a nice series of rods. They have everything from like 25-pound to 60-pound test. If you guys are looking for a new rod, U.S. made, right here in Huntington Beach by Randy Penny, kind of a top of the line rod.
7-footers are they or what?
Everything from 7.5 to 8 foot.
Uh-huh.
They have quite a variety of rods. Like I said, everything from like 25-pound, even 20-pound, up to like 60 or 80-pound tests. If you guys are looking for a new rod, mention the show that you saw the deal here, and for the rest of the week until Saturday, 25% off on any of these rods here. So it's a really good deal. Like I said, these are American-made rods, so they are going to be a little bit on the higher side. So like $438, you figure $100 off or something like that, 100 and something bucks off. Pretty dang good deal if you guys are looking to pick up a nice U.S.-made rod for our fishing that we got going on.
Got guys saying they're in the market for that right now. The password is
Seasick.
get some seasick.
Yeah.
Seasick.
The
Is
code
it
word.
seasick or vomiting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transact.
Oh, trans. Yeah, we don't want to have transes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just mention you saw it on the show. Come down and you're looking for the United Composites bait rod deal.
All right, everybody. Thank you so very much. The morning briefing will be on the air bright and early tomorrow. I'll have it up there probably around 8 a.m. because I got a busy day tomorrow. But I am going to get a good night's sleep tonight. Sam, always great spending time with you.
Chicken
Michael,
wing time.
we love you. And all of you, thank you so much for making Tackle Shop Confessions so great tonight. See you in the morning for the morning briefing and anything else break sport fishing wise.
Okay.
You'll hear it here first on Friedman
Okay,
Adventure.